sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has beautifully mentioned in Hadith Mubarakah. Besides durood or salawat salutations upon me 50 times daily, will have the opportunity of shaking hands with me on the day of Qiyamah. Subhanallah. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Salatan wa salaman alayka, ya Sayyidi, ya Habibi, ya Makki, ya Madani, ya Rasulullah. Salatan wa salaman alayka, ya Nabi Allah, wa ala alika wa ashabika, ya Nur Allah. All praises are indeed to Allah Azza wa Jalla, the cherisher, the sustainer, the maker, the provider, and the protector of the entire humanity. May His blessings and salawat and salutations be upon the noblest of creation, the Habib of Allah, and our Habib Nabi Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu. We ask Allah wa ta'ala on this very auspicious day, which is Juma. Alhamdulillah, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created us as human beings. And human beings are the best creation of Allah wa Ta'ala. And after Allah Azza wa Jalla having created us as human beings, He gave us a very beautiful way of life, and that was Islam. And then our beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam became our Nabi, became our Prophet, which is yet another very great thing that has happened to this ummah. Then we all know that Allah wa Ta'ala created many other creations. We can speak of the angels, we can speak of the jinnats, we can speak of many other creations of Allah wa Ta'ala. For what reason did Allah wa Ta'ala create me and you? What is our purpose of creation? Are we created in this life, in this dunya, to simply come and do whatever we want to do, whether good or bad, and then go, and then that's the end of everything? Or are we created for something else? When questions of this nature arise, it is important that we ask Allah Azza wa Jal, that, Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, what did you create us for? And a very beautiful answer comes from the Quran. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that I have not created mankind nor jinkind except for my worship. So the reason of our creation now becomes very, very crystal clear. But the reason we have been created by our Rabb, our Lord, is that we should worship Allah Azza wa Jalla. And we should not associate anything with Allah wa Ta'ala. That is the purpose of our creation. This having been said, it is important that we understand at the same time that the worship of Allah wa Ta'ala does not necessarily or only mean that we should come to the masjid and then engage ourselves in sajda and qiyam and ruku and in tashahhud, and this is what confines and defines worship. The worship of Allah Ta'ala means that we should stay far and away from those things upon which Allah Ta'ala has prohibited them. And we should go near and very close and do all those actions that Allah Ta'ala has made them halal, whether it is in the masjid or it is elsewhere. Because a Muslim is not a Muslim only when he comes into the masjid. And now this is where he is defined as a Muslim. No. We are Muslim outside the masjid. We are Muslims at our homes. We are Muslims at our working places. We are Muslims on each and every step that we take in this world. And therefore it makes it very, very clear that for as long as we are Muslims everywhere, we need to be aware of Allah Ta'ala at any given time, everywhere we find ourselves. So a true mu'min and a true believer will not say that I am not in the masjid, or this is not the month of Ramadan, or this is not a sacred day, and therefore let me do something which is against Allah and against His Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A true mu'min will know that whether it is a sacred month, whether it is in the month which is perhaps one of those sacred months, or is inside the masjid or outside the masjid, you will know that Allah Ta'ala is watching him, and Allah Ta'ala is fully aware of each and every act that he does. There was a teacher. This teacher was basically accused by the other learners. They say, our Ustad is having favoritism towards this student. And there was one particular child, one particular student who was loved by the teacher. And then the teacher wanted to make it known and wanted to clarify the misconception. That why is he showing so much of love towards this particular child? And according to the understanding of other children, thought that this is just a merely feeling that the teacher has had towards this particular child. So what he did one day is that he gave all his students live birds to go and slaughter these birds in a place where no one can see them. So they got very excited, ran in the bushes, ran in the mountains, and then they came back with these birds slaughtered, and they handed them over to the teacher. And that student, which the other students felt he was being favored, is not returning from the bushes, is not returning from the mountains. And after some little while, he comes back. And then when he comes back, instead of coming with his bird being slaughtered, he comes with it alive. And the teacher asked him, oh my child, oh my student, I have given you a command. As much as I have given everybody a command, that they must go in a place where no one can see them, slaughter these birds and then bring them to me. And each and every person, each and every child has done exactly what I have told them or commanded them to do. Why did you bring this bird alive? He says, oh my teacher, I went in the bushes. And I even went even deeper in the bushes. Then I came out. I went behind the mountain, in the caves. place that would come to my mind. The reason why I could not slaughter this bird is simply because each and every place I went, I found out that Allah Ta'ala was always there.
Subhanallah.
And therefore it became extremely impossible for me to slaughter this bird in a place where no one could see me. Because Allah Ta'ala is there. He is always watching. No one is out of the sight of Allah Ta'ala. When the teacher tells the children that this feeling, it is not based on material. It is not based on anything else, but it is simply based on the taqwa and the iman that this child possesses. Only if we can have this concept in our minds that Allah Ta'ala is watching us everywhere we are. Trust me, this world will become a better place for us. As our beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam tells us, ittaqillaha haythuma kunta. Fear Allah Ta'ala wherever you are. Because there is no place hidden from the sight of Allah Ta'ala. So the moment we establish ourselves in this way, with this beautiful understanding that Allah Ta'ala is there, is watching us, what are some of those benefits and rewards that come as a package as a result of this? I urge you to listen to this very, very carefully. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that niyyatul mu'mini khayrun min amali. But the intention of a believer is better than his amal, is better than his act, is better than his action. Just the intention. You know, just by merely making an intention of doing something good, even if for some what reason you were not able to carry out that particular deed, Allah Ta'ala will still reward you for the mere fact that you had a good intention. He will not wait until you make or you put that action into practice. For you having had that intention on your mind that I want to do A, B, C, D, which was very good in the sight of Allah, very good in the sight of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and for some what reason you were not able to do that, Allah Ta'ala will still give you the reward just based on your intention. Now imagine if you were to have this good intention of doing something and then you carry that particular action, how much of reward is Allah Ta'ala going to grant to you? All this is building up to something very important. We are here for Allah Ta'ala, and therefore we need to live this world for Allah Ta'ala. That is why when there is a mayyit, we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We are from Allah Ta'ala, and to Him is our return. Since we are from Allah Ta'ala, our living in this world needs to be for the sake of one deity, and that is the sake of Allah Ta'ala. And trust me, if we live our lives for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, this world will come and kiss our feet. This world will come and kiss our feet. We will not be the servants of this world, but this world will be our servant. Our beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, a very beautiful hadith in Mubarakah, that all this information has been leading to, in a hadith narrated by a very great companion of our beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala, he reports that our beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said that 3 men were trapped in a cave. And this is obviously before the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some time back. It says that 3 men were trapped in a cave. How did they get trapped in a cave? They went out on a journey. And during this particular journey, it started raining so bad. In fact, to use the word bad, and this is a teaching and a lesson to each and every single one of us. Rain is a bounty, is a ni'mah of Allah Ta'ala, and therefore there is no possibility of a Muslim to call rain a bad rain. Rain is always a good rain because it is water, it provides life, it is one of the greatest bounties and ni'mahs of Allah Ta'ala. So, storm came, and these personalities were in the middle of nowhere. So what happened? They saw there was an open cave. They ran in that particular cave to seek refuge from this storm. Remember, we are here for Allah, and then we will also go from here because of Allah Ta'ala, and therefore our living needs to circulate around the fact that we living for Allah Ta'ala, and each and every practice of ours needs to be linked towards Islam and needs to be linked towards Allah and His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the core of our lives. So they were trapped in the cave. And as they were sitting and relaxing because of that big storm and so much of rain that came, a big rock came, rolled down and closed the entrance of that cave. I mean, you can imagine the attitude of this rock. The way it is now closing the mouth of the cave. It is not something that you can just easily push it out and then it runs away from the cave. No, it closed the mouth of the cave, and these personalities were in a bigger trouble. Even if they were to make noise in that particular cave, no one would have heard them. So what was there? Run out of hopes. Just sit there and wait for your death to come. That's the only thing. But look at these personalities. They had one thing in common in their hearts, and that was never lose hope in the mercy of Allah.
Subhanallah, Bishak.
Never ever lose hope in the mercy of Allah. In fact, Allah says, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ. The Prophet of Allah, tell those servants of mine that have oppressed themselves that they should not lose hope in the mercy of Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. Indeed, Allah forgives each and every sin. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Indeed, He is Al-Ghafur, most forgiving and most merciful. So now they're sitting with a problem. One of them made dua in the sight of Allah. And he says, Oh Allah Azza wa Jalla. Obviously Allah knows their situation they find themselves in. He says, Oh Allah, my parents were very old, and I used to offer them their nightly drink of milk before my children and the other members of the family. Wallah, I had a habit of milking the animals at night and making sure that milk upon which I have milked the animals, I do not give it to any of my family members, including my children, before I can nourish and quench the thirst of my parents. And they were very, very old at that time. He says, Ya Allah, one day I went out of town for some reasons. And I only returned after my parents had gone to sleep. But when I returned, they were already sleeping. And therefore I never wanted to wake them up. I felt it would have been a disrespect to wake them up once they have slept. Ya Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, my children were crying at my feet. Other members of my family were waiting for that milk in order to quench their thirst. But I said, I will never give this milk to anyone until I have quenched the thirst of my parents. He says, Ya Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, I denied my family members that milk, my own children that milk. Ya Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, if this practice of mine, if this habit of mine, I did it only for your pleasure and to gain your mercy and your nearness, Ya Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, remove this rock away from the entrance. And as soon as he said that, the rock slightly shifted from the entrance of the cave. But it was not good enough for all of them to come out of the cave. It just shifted a little bit. And the second one said, Oh Allah, I had a cousin that I loved more passionately than any man could love a woman. I tried to seduce her. I tried to seduce her to the best of my ability to have the sexual intercourse with her. And she was a very pious woman. And she kept on refusing and kept on refusing and kept on refusing until one day they were hit by poverty. And she came to me demanding or asking for 120 dinars. And I said, look, this is an opportunity for me to fulfill my desires. I have been trying to seduce this woman time and time and again, and she kept on refusing. Now, her poverty is playing on my favor. Let me take an advantage of her poverty and then sleep with her and satisfy my desires. He says, she came to me and then she needed 120 dinars. And then I asked her that I will give you this money under one condition. And that condition is you sleep with me as I have been trying so many times. And she agreed. And he's making this dua to Allah Ta'ala. She agreed. I gave her the money. After giving her the money, I was preparing myself to get on top of her and fulfill my desire. And she said to me, "Oh young man, fear Allah Tabarakahu wa Ta'ala and do not break the log unlawfully." At that point in time, I could have just forgotten about everything because my whims and desires had overshadowed me. But he says, as soon as this woman said this, I got off from her and I left her alone. The fear of Allah Tabarakahu wa Ta'ala was such that I woke up from my sleep of negligence, and I left her alone. And I did not even take that particular money back from her. I let her take that money. Ya Allah, if I did this action only to gain your mercy, only to gain your rahmat, and to gain your proximity and qurbat, Ya Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, move this rock away from the cave.
slightly aside. My dear respected Islamic brothers, are we so far seeing what an important aspect it is for us to do each and every act of ours to please Allah and His Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Because those type of actions, we can bring them in the court of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala when we are in difficulties. And bear in mind that these people who were trapped in this cave, they were not the prophets of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. They were not the great awliyas of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. They were just ordinary people, just like me and you. But they had something that was extra special. They knew they are here for Allah, and each and every amal and action of theirs needs to please Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, and rest of the other things will follow. Now look, when they are in this situation, they reflecting back to their actions and amals and good deeds that they have done for Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And look at in this world, let alone the akhirat, in this world, they are benefiting from those actions and amals and deeds that they did in order to gain the pleasure of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. And what happened? The last one said, Ya Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, I hired a laborer, I hired one person, and I paid the rest of the other laborers that I have hired their monies and due. For some reason, the other one I could not pay him, and he went away and I couldn't meet him. After some time, he came back to me, demanding his money, demanding his payment. And that money of his, I had invested it in my business. That money of his, I have invested it in my business, and the business has grown so much because of this man's money. Oh Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, when that man came and then he demanded his money, I could have simply given him that which I owed him without having to disclose how much the business has grown. What he was entitled for basically was his due amount. Ya Allah, when he came, I showed him many camels and cattle and many animals, and I say to him, this is all that which I owe you. And this man says, O servant of Allah, don't play jokes with me. You don't owe me this amount of things. You don't owe me this amount of money. Why are you giving me so much? And this person then explains to him, look, when you were not here, I invested your money in this business and it has grown so much. And all this I am presenting before you, it is the result of that money that I owed you. So look, if today you want to give me a share of that, it is all up to you. If you also want to take all of that to yourself, it is all up to you, because you are the rightful owner of this wealth. And this person actually took everything. And he went away. And he says, Ya Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, based on all these facts, that this man I could have given him only that which was due to him, but I showed him the whole entire investment and how much the business has grown, and he took each and everything without leaving me with a cent. Ya Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, I could have simply demanded, look, you were not here, your business grew in. Whose efforts was that? That is my effort, and therefore pay for my effort. He says, I did not do that. Ya Allah, if I did that action in order to please you, Ya Allah, remove this cave from the entrance, sorry, this rock from the entrance of the cave. And what happened? Now the rock moved completely away from the entrance of the cave, and these three personalities were able to come out of the cave. Honorable, respected elders and brothers in Islam, don't underestimate your actions. Don't underestimate your sacrifices. They speak a lot, and they have so much of weight in the sight of Allah and in the sight of Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Put Allah Azza wa Jalla as your priority in your intentions, in your actions, in your plans, and you will see how this world will come running at your feet. Look at these personalities that were trapped in the cave. They had something very beautiful, and that was to have the yaqeen and the hope in the mercy of Allah wa ta'ala. Today we complaining, we have so much problems. We have this problem, and then what happens? Shaitan comes to us, and then he makes us lose hope in the mercy of Allah wa ta'ala. That why should A, B, C, D happen to me? I am there so many people that such a thing could have happened to them. But these people of the cave did not say things like that. Ya Allah wa ta'ala, why put us in this situation? But they looked at all the positivities that were there, and from among those positivities is that they never lost hope in the mercy of Allah wa ta'ala. Look at Sayyidina Yunus alayhi salatu wasalam, who was in the stomach of a fish for 3 days, but he never lost hope in the mercy of Allah wa ta'ala. Do what you want to do. Our problems today cannot be like the problems of Sayyidina Yunus alayhi salatu wasalam. Our problems today cannot be like the problems of Sayyidina Ayyub alayhi salatu wasalam. Our problems today cannot be like the problems of these personalities that were trapped in the cave. Because you and I don't know what they were leaving behind. They may have family members, small children, who could have looked after those children. But they knew that there was something very important that they should not shy far away from. And that was the mercy of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala helped them. Don't ever lose hope in the mercy of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Allah doesn't like people who lose mercy in Him, because it simply shows that we have less trust in Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala make us from amongst those people who can really from the bottom of our hearts have hope in the mercy of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And may Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala make us such that we do such lawful and good actions and amals, that one day when we are faced with difficulties, we will not shy away to say, Ya Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, I did this and did this for you, Ya Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And today I need your assistance, I need your help, and trust me, the help of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will still be there for you.
Inshallah.
My dear respected Islam brothers, allow me to terminate by saying Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala make us salih, make us pious, make us from amongst those whose amals and actions can be accepted in the court of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala make us understand that nothing is too small for Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and nothing is too big for Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Each and everything, when laid in the court of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, is possible. May He grant us reward for our sabr and patience and our taqwa and our iman, such that inshaAllah we will enter Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen. بجاي النبي الأمين صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. صلوا على الحبيب صلى الله تعالى